All right, we're getting ready for lesson 7, subject, verb, verb sentences. And with me today, I have our student who's been with us, Alan, and I have Josie. And Alan and Josie have been through all the lessons with me. So we're going to practice this lesson 7, subject, verb, verb. So far you have been using the pen strategy to write 2 types of simple sentences, those containing 1 subject and 1 verb, and those containing 2 subjects and 1 verb. Today you will learn how to use the strategy with simple sentences containing 1 subject and 2 verbs. So you will need to take notes and use the slant strategy as you learn about this new kind of simple sentence. So we're going to review first. So what is the definition of a verb?
An action.
An action. Very good, Josie, an action. So what is the definition for, now you said that, right? You said an action. So what is the definition for an action verb though? If you were to describe, Alan, an action verb, how would you describe that?
A movement verb, like you're doing something.
Okay, you're doing something, right? That's what the action verb identifies. So let's think of some examples of action verbs. So Josie, do you have an example of an action verb?
To run.
Oh, but that'd be an infinitive, right? Because to run. There you go, run.
Swim.
To see, it's hard. It's hard to not do that. So swim. What other action verbs can you guys think of?
Play.
Jump.
Play. Okay. So we have a lot of action verbs that you could use. Now, what is the definition for a linking verb? So you have to think way back to the ones we did previously. What is the definition for a linking verb?
A word in front of a verb.
But what does it do?
Connects it to the sentence.
Connects it to the,
Noun.
you're right, the sentence, but what part of the sentence? Yeah, the noun. Connects it to the subject of the sentence. So what are our linking verbs? We have that, remember we did the really quick statement. You guys remember that? So am, is, are, was, were, seem, be, been, become. Say that with me. Am, it, are, is, was, were, seem, be, been, become. Let's do it one more time. And we'll have Alan be on the camera this time as he does that using cue card 6.
Am, are, is, was, were, seem, be, been, become.
Very good. Okay, so we have our linking verbs. So what is the definition of a subject?
Person, place, or thing.
It's the person, place, or thing. Very good, Josie. So it's the person, place, or thing, quality, or idea that the sentence is about. So it's going to describe what the sentence, person, place, or thing that the sentence is about. So give me a subject. You guys just wrote some subjects, but give me another subject. So Josie will give us a subject here and be recorded.
Pam.
Okay, so maybe names of people, right? Alan, what is another subject?
Fish.
Okay, maybe a fish. I know you guys also use the name of dogs that you have in multiple senses. What are the names of your dogs?
Franklin.
Rose.
Here, we'll even put Franklin on there. So there is Franklin. He's not happy to be here. So we have Franklin, Rose, Max. We have those as names, but you said that a subject can be a person, place, or thing. So what are some places that we might use in a sentence?
A house.
How? A house or house?
House.
House, right?
Applebee's.
Applebee's. Now, would Applebee's is a
Place.
proper noun, name of a place, would it be capitalized?
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we have people, person, place, or name of a person, place, or thing. Okay, so now what is the definition of a prepositional phrase? Do we remember what the definition of a prepositional phrase is?
Well, it's like to go somewhere, right?
Okay, it's to show movement, right? And how did we show movement on cue card 9?
I think
With the
we used the
bees
bees in a
and
bottle.
Yep, and we did, right? And I think that is just a really good strategy because you can always think, so what are some things a bee can essentially, a bee flies blank the bottle, Alan? What's a preposition that you could come up with?
From the bottle.
From the bottle. Okay, Josie, what about you? A bee flies blank the bottle. Under the bottle. Okay, so on cue card 10 that you have an entire list of prepositions that you could use when you're writing, just in case you need them. But really, if you just think about the bottle and the relationship of that, that will be very helpful. So the definition of an infinitive. What was an infinitive? Josie, we'll put you on camera and you can describe what an infinitive is.
an action. So yeah, it's like
Yeah, you're
to,
right. It'll always start with what? To. So you have to really be careful to make sure it's not a preposition, right?
Yeah.
In that, very good. Okay, so what is an example of an infinitive, Alan?
To go.
So to go, you guys said to run. If you ask yourself if it's something you can do, then that is really helpful. Okay, so the formula, what is the formula for simple sentences with one subject and one verb? What do we call that formula?
Pens?
No, that's how we write that formula. You're right, Josie.
checking?
Slang.
Slant is the attentional strategy. It's really simple. I think you guys are overthinking it. What do you write above your, if it's one subject?
Oh, so just SV?
SV, yes. I think you guys were overthinking it. Okay, so the formula for simple sentence with two subjects and one verb.
SSV.
Very good. Okay, so the pen steps, Josie, you mentioned them. What are they? P is for?
Picking the formula.
Very good. E is for?
Evaluating the sentence.
No, I think you're thinking of the check. So if you were writing a sentence, remember pens. P stands for pick your formula. E is explore.
Subject?
Sentence.
Explore the, let me pull the cue card up so that I can give you guys the hint there. Explore words to fit the formula. So E is what?
Explore words to fit the formula.
N is?
Nope. The word.
So you write them, so you have ideas. And then S is?
Search and check.
Very good. Okay, so the parts of the search and check steps, that goes into what acronym?
Mark.
Mark, right? And M was, we added that one very recently. It is mark out the, when somebody fakes being someone, what do we call that?
Oh, the imposter.
The imposters. Very good, Alan. So we mark out the imposters. We ask ourselves if there is a what?
Verb.
What is our?
Subject.
Root out the subject. And K is?
Key in on what's the beginning, what's in the middle, and what's in the end.
Meaning.
Meaning.
Yep. So we look at the beginning, is it capitalized? We look at the ending, is there what?
Period or any sort of
Punctuation. And then we look at the meaning. Does it make sense? Very good. Okay, so far you've worked with two types of simple sentences. What are they again? Because we just reviewed them.
SV.
SSV.
Very good. The third type of simple sentence has one subject and two verbs. So what might you guess the formula for this type of sentence would be if it has one subject and two verbs?
SVV.
Very good. So good thinking. We use the formula SVV to represent this type of sentence. The S stands for one subject and the two V's stand for two verbs. What do you suppose is a simple way of describing this type of simple sentence? Like if you had to describe why you would use an SVV, when would you use an SVV sentence?
If you're doing two things at once.
If you're doing two things at once, because a verb is an action, right? So if you're doing two actions at once, you might use this. Very good. So I'm going to demonstrate to you guys how to write this type of sentence. So say that I'm going to use my pen strategy, right? and I'm going to pick a formula, and I know I want to do a subject verb sentence, right? I have to explore the words. You guys really like talking about Franklin and Max. So I'm going to put Franklin and Max, and you guys say that Franklin and Max do what?
Play.
They play. What else do they do, Alan?
Fight.
They fight. What else do they do?
Run.
They run. What else do they do?
Eat.
Eat. Okay. So we've put some words down. Now we're going to note our sentence, and we are going to say Franklin, because remember, it's one subject because this is an SVV. Franklin wants
To play
To-
and eat.
play and eat. So we have to just remember, if we're using an SVV, we're not going to use two subjects. So now we are going to use our search and check. Did I write that correctly? Search and check. M is to mark out what?
The imposter.
Do I have any imposters?
I don't think so.
Do I?
Oh, to.
Very good. And what is that? It's an infinitive. So I would mark those things out, right? And also eat over here because it would be to play, to eat, right? If you didn't do it that way. So what is my subject in this sentence?
Franklin
Franklin. And what is my verb?
wants.
He wants to do something. Yeah, very good, Alan. That's a very good catch. So you know what? We can't do that. Very good. So this is hard, and we've got to make sure that we check ourselves. That's why that check and step process is important, because very good. You caught the infinitives. And a lot of people use infinitives that way. So Franklin eats and plays. Now, do we have any imposters in that sentence?
No.
No, we do not. So what is our subject, Josie?
Franklin.
Franklin. And what does Franklin do, Alan?
Eats. Plays.
Very good. Okay. So very, very good. You guys did an excellent job of catching that too. So we search and check. Do we have a capital? We have to look at beginning,
Yes.
end, and meaning.
Is that a comma?
It's a period. I'm sorry. It's not very clear. So Franklin capital, and we have a period and our meaning. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So that is exactly how we're going to do that. So we search for those verbs, and we caught ourselves using some imposters, didn't we? So do you see how the process that we use to check our work can catch those kind of things?
Mhm.
Because do you think we would have noted that if we weren't being mindful of that? Okay. So we are going to now you're going to try to use the search and check step on some sentences containing one subject and two verbs. Remember, you'll need to do all four parts of the search and check step. Look at the first sentence on your learning sheet, 14A. Make sure to put your name on it. So we're gonna have Alan be on video here for the writing portion. Okay, so we're going to, what is the first thing that we have to search and check on these sentences? What does M stand for?
Mark out the imposter.
Mark out the imposters. So why don't each of you read that, and you're gonna look for what? What are you looking for to help you know if it's an imposter?
The word to.
Yep. Did you see any in there?
No.
Okay. That means that there is no infinitive in this sentence and no prepositional phrase beginning with the word to. What's the next thing we need to do? Look for the
There's
prepositional phrase, but no prepositional phrase that starts with to.
In the tree.
Very good catch, Josie. So yes, you are right. So you have to look for the prepositional phrase. So what do we do to the prepositional phrase when we're doing search and check? Very good. And we put a what above it? Very good. Okay, so there is a preposition in this sentence, and Since there is, what is the preposition that you guys said?
In the tree.
What is the preposition, not the
In
in? Very good. Because the bee could fly
the bottom.
in the bottle. Very good. So what's the whole prepositional phrase in this sentence?
In the tree.
In the tree. Very good. Okay, so are there any action words? Are any of
Swung
these
and
words?
ate.
Okay, what do we need to do next? So M was mark out the imposters. A is what? We might need to use our cue card if we don't remember. A is ask, is there a,
Verb.
we'll have Josie on recording for that part. So is there a verb in that sentence?
2 birds.
2 verbs.
Okay, and what are your verbs?
Swung and ate.
Very good job. So is that an action verb or are they linking verbs?
Their action verb.
Very good. So let's write a V above each of these. Now the R is what? Do you guys remember what the R is? The next step after, is there a verb? R is root out the subject. So who or what swung and ate?
The monkey.
Very good. So we're going to put that S above monkey. We can't stop here though. We need to check whether there is another word that answers the question who or what, because sometimes we have SSVV sentences that we'll talk about in the future. But in this one, we have to look, is there another word that could answer who or what swung and ate?
No.
No, not in this sentence. You guys are correct. So we have found the 2 verbs and 1 subject of this sentence. What is our final stage of the check process?
Check for errors.
Which are what? There's 3 pieces of the errors that we look for.
Punctuation, making sense, and
Beginning.
the beginning.
Beginning, end, and meaning, right? That's what we call them, but you're right, Josie. So do you have
No period.
the beginning? Is it capitalized?
Yes.
Okay. What's the next step, Alan? You said the end. So what do we have to look for?
Punctuation.
Is there a period in that sentence?
It's not.
No, there is not. So what do you do to that?
We add a period.
Very good. And then the last part is meaning. Does it make sense? Can a monkey swing and eat?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So what I want you to do now is I want you to work through the mark steps on number 2, 3, 4, and 5. And what we're going to do is Alan, I'm going to go back to Alan here. Alan, walk Josie verbally through number 2 as you go through. What's the first thing you have to ask yourself?
I was looking for imposters and I found to my house as a infinitive.
I want you to
And then-
double check that. What's the difference between an infinitive and a prepositional phrase? But describe that to Josie.
There's no action behind the 2.
Very good. So that's a prepositional phrase, right? So you marked out your imposters. Then what was your next step? I want you to go slower and verbally walk through it. So M and then A is what? Ask what?
I was looking for verbs.
Yep. So what were your verbs that you identified?
Came and stayed.
Okay. And what is R? It's root out the,
Subject, which is
the-
call.
okay. And you have to not stop there because could it
I
possibly
checked
be
for
what is it
another.
about? Okay.
There is no other one.
And then your K step is what?
There is a P not capitalized on call.
You looked at the beginning and then look at the ending
And then meaning,
and then meaning. Were there any errors in that?
just the fall.
Okay, so now Josie's gonna walk Alan through number 3 and just verbally walk him through that, Josie, as you go through there.
So the first thing is to check for imposters. In the yard is a phrase.
Well, always look for the infinitives first. Do you see the word to?
No.
Nope. So you know there's no infinitives in that. But then the second part of the M is what? Look for,
The phrases.
yeah. So what is your preposition in that one?
In the yard are in.
Okay, very good. Now what's the next step in the mark process?
Find the verbs.
Okay, and what are your verbs?
Ran and played.
Very good. What is your R?
Root out the subject.
Okay,
So the subject is children.
okay,
And then it's just beginning, ending, meaning. Beginning needs a capital, ending has a period, and the meaning makes sense.
very good. Very nice. All right, so let's have Alan do one more verbally to Josie there. What's your M?
So I don't see any infinitives, but I do see, I do see it, to play.
Very good.
And I look for verbs, enjoys, once, subject is she, no other subject. And then I look for errors in the beginning, end, and meaning, there's no period, and the meaning is good.
Okay, very good. And Josie, just lead Alan through number 5.
I'm looking for infinitive, and I don't see any.
And what is your hint on those infinitives?
The word to.
Very good.
But I think there is a phrase, and it's put on. Or is that not a phrase?
So now let's talk about that. Can a bee put the bottle? Can a bee fly put the bottle?
No,
What's the next word you were wondering about?
that's it.
Well, you had put.
Oh, on.
So can a bee fly on the bottle?
Yeah.
Yes.
So on his computer would be the phrase. Then the verbs is the next step. So put and wave. Subject is man.
And then your final step in the
Is-
mark.
The capitalization's good. The period's good, but the meaning is a little weird.
It is an odd sentence.
The
So how
man
could we
put-
change
Put
that
on,
sentence?
I said glove.
Put on his glove and wait.
Oh, I like that one. That doesn't make, yeah, that doesn't make sense with the computer.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. You guys did an excellent job on that part. So what I'm going to have you do right now, and I'm going to just put the camera on you each while you do it. I'm going to have you do some independent time on your learning sheet 14B. But please follow that mark process. Use that mark process as you go through because that's important in remembering those steps.
Is into an introduction for phrases?
Can a bee fly into the bottle?
Yes.
Very good. That's why, and I know you guys thought the bottle was silly, but if you always think of the bottle as a reference to something being a preposition, it really helps. And you also have your preposition lists in your cue cards if you need to know. I'm gonna have Josie's all done. Okay, we'll look at those and we'll see. Very good on that first one, Josie. You did a really nice job. So let's talk about those real quick and you guys will score yourselves. So you're gonna put, don't forget, you're gonna put those ones in if you get them correct, but we're going to, Alan, you have to wait until we go over them. So did you have any imposters in number one?
No.
You didn't have an imposter
There's
in
a
number?
phrase.
Oh, well,
not
yeah,
an
but those are
imposter.
imposters. So mark the imposters. We consider those infinitives.
Last time
and-
I went straight to the phrase. You said you have to look for infinitives first. So I
Well,
thought
you
that's
do,
what you were
yes, you are
talking
right, but
about.
it's all part of the M.
Oh my God.
It's all part of the M stage. You're right. So, okay, so you had a prepositional phrase. What's the next step? You look for, what's your verbs? What are your verbs in this one?
Fell and broke.
Very good. Give yourself 1 point for that. And then you have, if you got your prepositional phrase correct, give yourself a point for that one. And then what is your subject of the sentence?
Bottle.
Very good. If you have that correct, give yourself a point. And then what error did you guys find in the sentence?
Capitalization.
Capitalization. Very good. So number 2, we're going to go that way, is what is your subject of the sentence?
Men.
Men. Okay, give yourself a point if you got that right. What are your verbs?
Awoke and drove.
Very good. And what did you have? An imposter, a prepositional phrase, or an infinitive phrase?
An imposter.
Okay.
Infinitive.
You did, yes. So you're going to give yourself a point if you have that. And then did you find an error?
Period.
A period. It's missing a period. Very good. Okay, so then what about your
Number three.
number 3? What is your subject?
Stars.
Stars. Okay. Did you have more than one subject?
No.
Okay, and then what are your verbs?
Twinkle and made.
Very good.
In the sky.
Yeah, in the sky was the phrase.
Very good.
And then it needed a period.
Very good. Okay. And Alan, or you're getting the dog. On number 4, do you want to lead us in that, Josie?
Lightning is the subject.
Okay.
Struck and burned are the verbs.
Okay. Very good. Give yourself a point if you have struck and
Burned.
burned.
Beyond repair, I put as a phrase.
Okay, very good. That's a hard one. Beyond is a hard one to catch.
And no period.
No period.
And no period on that one. Very good. Okay, Alan, lead us on 5.
Trained subject. Whistled. Roared is verb. Through the crossing is my phrase.
Okay,
And there is no capital T.
very good. All right, you guys did an excellent job on that. So both of you passed. So we are going to go to sheet 15A. So if you want to turn to sheet 15A, this is where we're going to write with these. So now it's time for you to use your pen steps to write and check your own simple sentences containing 1 subject and 2 verbs. So remember that error we made. When we first wrote our sentence, what error did we make?
We made them both imposters.
We did. We made them both imposters. So be really careful of that when you're writing. So let's do one of those together. So the first step of P is what? Pick our
words.
formula. And we know it's subject, verb, verb because it tells us. So then we have to explore our words. So what words do you guys want to use in this?
Pam and Alan.
Pam?
One subject.
We are exploring words.
Yes, Josie is right. We're exploring words so we can have more as long as we don't write 2 subjects in there. How about we put Josie down too? Okay, and what would Pam, Alan, and Josie like to do?
Sleep.
Sleep. What else?
Eat.
Eat. What?
Talk.
Talk. What else?
Text.
Text. Okay.
Run.
Run. Well, I think Alan and Josie might like that, but Pam might not like to run. Okay, so we have our words. So now we're going to throw some sentences down, right? We're going to name those. We're going to put them down. So let's think of a sentence. Alan, what subject would you like to use? Because we're only using 1 subject for these. Josie. What is Josie going to do in this sentence? She has to do 2 things, right? What's she going to do? What do you guys want her to do?
Run.
Josie runs and talks. So write that down. Josie runs and talks. Now we're at the S where we have to search and check. What do we search for first?
Imposter.
Do we have any imposters?
No.
No, we kept it pretty simple. So we don't have any of that stage. Or actually, we're not searching. Sorry, that's the mark phase. So we don't have to do that one right now. Or are we checking? I'm thinking of, no, we're just in the S phase of pens. We look at the beginning, the end, and the meaning. Very good. So do we have a capital? Do you guys have a capital there? If you do, and do you have a punctuation mark?
I do.
And is it appropriate punctuation? Okay. And does it make sense? Can
Yes.
Josie run and talk?
Yeah.
Okay. So give yourself your points on that. And we'll do one more together using our words that we identified in our Explore phase. Alan picked Josie before. Josie, what subject would you like to use?
Alan.
Alan. And what does Alan do?
Eats and sleeps.
Okay, Alan eats and sleeps. Okay, so you guys write that down and then we'll do our search and check. What do we look for first?
Beginning.
And what do we look for next?
And
And do you have punctuation? And what is the final thing?
meaning.
Meaning. Very good. You guys did a great job on that. So now I'm going to have you just write sentence 3 through 5, come up with those, and then mark them. Do your mark on them. Now you're ready to write your own simple sentences with one subject and 2 verbs, but be careful. Be careful of that infinitive imposter. You will earn points for having 1 subject and 2 verbs and for putting a capital letter at the beginning and end punctuation at the end. And for making sure that your sentences make sense. You need to search through the sentences to mark out any imposters and write I's, P's, V's, and S's above them. Also check the beginning, ending, and meaning. If you write more than what is required, you may not earn your points. So please keep it as simple as possible. If you earn at least 80% of the points available, you'll be ready to move on to our next one. Be careful, Josie. It said you don't earn points if you write too much. Keep it simple. He writes. No, we're holding on. We're gonna review. Okay, so let's look at them. Josie, tell us what sentence you have for number 3.
The dog ran and played in the field.
Very good. And what was your subject?
The dog.
And what did he do?
Ran and played.
Very good. And did you have any errors? Did you do your search and check stuff?
I
Okay,
did.
very good. So you earn your points. Alan, what do you have for number 3?
Number 3 or 4?
Number 3, because you did that one as your first one. Oh, well, I guess you're right, but let's have you read number 3.
Max plays and fights in the park.
What's your subject?
Max
And what is your verbs?
plays, fights.
Did you have any errors?
No.
Okay, excellent. So let me look here at your 4 and 5. Does Kleino walk and run around the track?
I'm gonna say base, but it's probably
Good use of an infinitive in there, Josie. Okay, so now what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to have you do, I'm going to quit recording. Well, actually, no, we have one more section of this, I think. So I'm going to put pause on the recording while you guys write your sentences, and then we'll come back to finish this lesson up. You guys did a great job on the writing of your sentences, and you both had over your 80%. So I want you guys to turn to, we are going to do a little bit of a challenge now. So we're at the point where you guys have learned so many formulas and you know exactly what to do. So you're going to turn to 16A, your lesson 16A. And what I want you guys to do is you are going to see, it's time for you to use the pen step to write and check the 3 types of simple sentences that you know. So this is going to be your challenge. Alan, please wait till I give you the directions. So what are the 3 formulas that you know for simple sentences?
SV, SSV, SVV.
Very good. So those are the 3 formulas. Now look at this lesson. It looks a little different than the rest. So notice that to the left of each number, there's a formula. You are to write a sentence that matches that formula. Let's do a few sentences together before you work on your own. So the first formula, Josie, is what? What is the first formula that is chosen?
SV.
SV. So you are going to follow your pen strategy. So what I want you guys to do is write your P is what? Alan, we need to follow the process. So P stands for what? What does P stand for in pens?
Pick your word formula.
Pick your formula, which it's picked for you. So you don't have to pick that step. The second one, E, is what?
Explore your world.
Explore your words. So what I want you to do is I want you guys up in this section right here, I want you to put your words, just like we did when we did it together. Write some words that you would be ready for your sentence. Okay, so Alan, what is N? The N step of it. Do you remember that step? N is note the words. So now you guys are going to write a subject verb sentence with your words.
The man ran.
Josie's working on hers. Hold on one second. Okay, so Alan, guide Josie on the check-in step, the M, the mark.
Look for imposters.
Okay, so Josie and Alan both, because he's guiding you on that, look for imposters in your sentence.
I don't have.
Josie, did you have one?
Yeah, I have an infinitive.
Okay, very good. A is what? Or next we look for
Preferred.
prepositional phrases first.
Oh,
So we look for the
that's how-
infinitives first and then the prepositional phrases. Then we look for what, Alan?
Preferred.
We put a what above it. Very good.
Subject. And then I looked for capitalization, punctuation, and error meanings.
Okay, and did you both have that?
No.
All right, so now let's do the next one with your words. So what type of sentence, what is P? P is pick your formula, and what formula has it chosen for you?
SVV.
SVV, so it's a subject, verb, verb. Be careful of those infinitives that we got caught with. So I'm gonna have Alan be on there this time. So wait for Josie to guide you through the check-in step, please.
I'm just gonna wait for Josie now.
Okay, so Josie, guide Alan verbally through the mark step process.
Mark out the imposters, so if you have any infinitives.
How do we know it's an infinitive, Josie?
It's the word to and
Okay.
then an action. And then phrases.
Okay. Did you have a prepositional phrase? Did you, Alan?
Yes.
Okay. All right, and then what is a,
Verb.
what is your verb, Alan?
Ran, walked,
Okay, Josie?
Runs, plays.
Okay, and then what is our?
Subject. And then the beginning, end, and meaning. Check it.
And did you guys have any errors?
No.
All right, so I'm going to end the recording because you guys have done all of the lesson. The only thing you have left to do is your independent practice on 16B. And I'm going to just end the recording right now, but you guys are going to keep working on that.